The firearms in Escape from Tarkov work differently from those in most other first-person shooters. In Tarkov, the bullet spawns from the weapon's magazine, which is then loaded into the gun's chamber before being fired out of the weapon. Along with that, if the weapon doesn't have a magazine installed, has no spare magazines, or if all the magazines you brought are empty, you're able to breech load the weapon, putting in one bullet at a time and allowing you to fire one bullet at a time. This system allows for the bullets to hit where the barrel is pointed, rather than spawning them at a set point on the player's screen. Because of this, while firing from the hip, the weapon's idle sway can affect where the bullets go. You can see this when firing a gun from the hip. On the first shot, the bullet goes where the barrel is facing, and turns slightly to the left. On the second shot, again, the bullet goes where the barrel is facing, and the gun tilts slightly upwards. The last shot also hits where the barrel was facing, demonstrating this mechanic nicely. Because the bullets come out of the barrel of your weapon, as opposed to the center of your screen, this requires the weapons to have collision in order to properly interact with the environment. This can be seen while your weapon is pressed up against any other object. If you are using a smaller weapon, you're able to get much closer to objects without the weapon being affected. However, when using larger weapons, you're not able to get as close to objects due to the weapon's length as seen here. When fighting in close quarters combat, a longer weapon could get caught on objects, affecting where the gun will fire dramatically, again displaying Tarkov's relatively unique weapon mechanics. This directly affects peeking around corners. Here, you can see the weapon's barrel interacting with the edge of a box. If the barrel is obstructed, you won't hit what you are aiming at. Another example of gun interaction with the environment can be seen when firing over the top of an obstacle like a box or a vehicle. While using any sort of cover, it is important to make sure your barrel doesn't bump into it or get obstructed by it in any way. If your barrel doesn't clear the top of the object you're hiding behind, or the wall that you're peeking out from, then your bullet will hit that object. This is especially true when using a scope on your weapon, and even harder to know when your barrel is clear of the obstruction due to the scope's magnification. The scope of a weapon will be able to see over and around an object before your barrel will be able to clear it. Objects aren't the only thing that can affect the position of your barrel. Moving also affects the barrel's position. Even though it happens with any movement, it becomes more apparent while sprinting and firing a weapon immediately after, as shown here. If you allow the weapon to recenter, however, the bullets hit close to the center of the screen. But when firing slightly earlier at the end of the sprint animation, the bullets hit way off center. This can be recreated using automatic weapons as well, as shown here. The bullets hit off to the left of the screen center before the weapon recentered itself.